Hello, I'm a film major who never watches any films, so I've decided to watch a film every single day. And the film I decided to watch today was Snowpiercer. It's the same director of the person who wrote and directed Parasite, that's the more famous. But I'm pretty sure Snowpiercer is pretty famous too. It was made in 2013, and it was pretty critically acclaimed, so this one's been on my list forever, and I've been meaning to watch it. And I decided to today, and it was fantastic. Basically, the setting of this is there is this train that goes around the world because we have caused global warming to increase and the whole world has frozen over. So the only humans that actually exist on the earth anymore are those in this self-sustainable train that loops the whole earth every single year. And that's a pretty interesting idea. Obviously, there's lots of things like population control, global warming's a huge message. It's like literally the first thing that is said in the film. And then classism too, because the people at the back of the cart are worse off than the people at the front of the cart. You know, they get different things given to them. They get different levels of education, different levels of housing, cleaning, extracurriculars, whatever it is. So it's obviously talking about like different kind of things like segregation and classism and such, all kind of mingled into this prison escape story. So it's so fun. It's so tense. It's like anything you'd want like an action movie to be. You know, just it seems so smart. It's great action. There is a bunch of interesting set pieces despite just all being inside a train. You know, you'd think that all train trolleys would kind of look the same, but no. This is a huge heist, basically a prison break, and it's a lot of fun. I don't know really what else to say. There's a lot of twists and turns in the story as well. But I don't want to spoil too much of it, but I guess I'll talk a little bit. The leader of this, or I guess the second in command, he's the young buck, and they got the wise old leader, and then you got the young buck. And the young buck, he's like the leader, kind of reluctantly. You know, he's the one that always charges first into danger. He's the one that does all the cool fighting. He's the one that the revolt is named after. He was a chaotic teenager coming onto this train, and as things kind of spewed into chaos, he became a perpetuator of like the bad institutions, you know, of the killing and like the eating of other humans on this train and stuff. And eventually he is now reformed, and now he is looking for a better life for everybody in the back of the trolley, and he wants to stop the leader of it. And there's a lot of twists and turns with how this story goes, because the original thing is just, you know, stop the leader from, you know, mistreating everybody. And then there's other things like, okay, well, it's been 20 years. How is the Earth reacting? You know, is it healing itself? Is global warming still bad? Are there other options than just this train? But for right now, it kind of seems like the train is the only option that they have. And so they're trying to push through it, and then you get to see these different levels of the train and how their society is structured. It's really interesting, you know, the way that the even that the creators of the train have these like things built in as like ways of punishment. Like, to make an example of somebody, they took out this seal in the wall, and they put their arm out it. And so his arm was just hanging outside of the train in this freezing tundra, and his arms just freezes solid, and they pull it back in, and they smash it with a hammer as a way to like show dominance. And so it's really interesting. I really appreciate that, like, it seemed like fully thought out, you know. It's like, how do they get the water? And it's like, well, they get the water off the ice, you know, and the snow that goes on the train. You know, how they get their fish and their chickens? Well, they have a chicken dedicated trolley, and they've got a aquarium dedicated trolley where they make sure they, you know, are taking care of the fish a proper amount. They only get to eat it a couple times a year. So it's a lot of really cool things like that, where it really does seem like a lot of these things are fleshed out. A lot of the ways that they like interact with it, it's like interact with the train, and like sustainability is pretty interesting. And yeah, I don't know, it's just nice to see like a fully thought out world. There's always times where I'm watching a movie or reading a story and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. How does this happen? I get 10 million questions. But they really seem to have thought of most of things, and their approach to ways of interacting with their environment is really cool as well. So it's pretty awesome. I really love this movie, and I'm gonna see Parasite soon because I've been meaning to watch that forever, and it's on Hulu, so I have no excuse. But back to Snowpiercer, I would say this is probably an 8 or 9 out of 10. I'm leaning closer to an 8 since it wasn't really direct with its messaging, just kind of like global warming bad, and it's the elites of the world who have the power. Segregation bad, you know, everybody should have the same access to education, health, and food services, and housing like everybody else, but yeah, it doesn't go much further beyond that. But it's a great movie. It's a very tense filled, it's very epic, it's a great action film. Go watch it.